We all love Super Saiyans, but what about the other transformations in Dragon Ball? Specifically, the villains. From final forms to perfect beings, Dragon Ball is full of transformations beyond the well-known Super Saiyan forms of Goku and Vegeta, especially when it comes to villains. Where would the series be without villains' powerful and sometimes disgusting transformations? Villains revealing stronger and more powerful transformations is one of the greatest staples of the series. But the question is, which amongst these transformations are the most powerful? In no particular order, here are the 10 strongest villain transformations in the Dragon Ball franchise. Let's start off with the originator of the "this isn't even my final form" memes, the Lord of Evil and Conqueror of Planets himself, Frieza. As the Namek saga began to hone in on the battle between Goku and Frieza, the latter revealed that his already massive power was just the beginning, proceeding to show 2 subsequent forms with even greater power. Then he unveiled his final form, the strongest transformation and power level that Goku or any other character in the series had encountered up until that point. Slick, streamlined, and incredibly frightening, Frieza's final form is easily one of the strongest villain transformations in all of Dragon Ball. And not just at the time. Even with his newly acquired Super Saiyan power, Goku was only able to defeat Frieza with some luck on his side, and Frieza has proven his final form is strong enough to keep up with the near god-level fighters in the Tournament of Power. Suffice it to say, Frieza's final form is one of the strongest villain forms in the series, as well as one of the coolest looking. Next up, we have not only one of the best designed and coolest looking villain transformations in Dragon Ball, but also one of its strongest, Perfect Cell. Though he eventually met his end at the hands of Gohan's Super Saiyan 2 power, Perfect Cell was practically unbeatable. Think about it, it literally took a new transformation to beat Cell's perfect form, which tells us just how powerful it is. Even if Cell was eventually beaten, the form was incredibly strong before its defeat. Specifically, Cell's perfect form came with a ton of power and nearly perfect regenerative abilities that kept him kicking even after the strongest attacks left him nothing but a pair of legs. Suffice it to say, Cell's final form easily makes the list of the strongest villain transformations in Dragon Ball, especially when he unlocked his Super Saiyan powers from his Goku DNA and when he regained his perfect form after regenerating. If it wasn't for Gohan's massive power-up, Perfect Cell may very well have destroyed the world, his power, regeneration, and endless techniques making his final form nearly unstoppable. Now, Buu had a lot of forms and changes during the final saga of Dragon Ball Z, but arguably the strongest among them was Super Buu. This form was created when Buu's evil energy escaped from himself and consumed his good self, turning him into a more purified form that wanted nothing but to cause destruction. This form was known as Super Buu, and while he was strong enough in his first iteration, what made this form one of the strongest in Dragon Ball was the fact that he could absorb other warriors and incorporate their strength, abilities, and even their intelligence into his own body. At his peak, which was after absorbing Piccolo, Gotenks, and Gohan, he was so unstoppable that it took Goku and Vegeta fusing to even stand a chance. Buu was already impressive, but add to it the power of the only people who actually stood a chance against him, and Super Buu stands to be one of the strongest and most interesting Dragon Ball villain transformations in the series. Of course, he was eventually thwarted by Vegito, but his power was still insane. Speaking of Majin Buu, let's talk about the other major Majin transformation in the Buu saga, Majin Vegeta. Now this is something of a technicality when it comes to villain transformations, since Vegeta was a good guy at this time, but since he gave in to Babidi's control to become a bad guy again and gain ultimate power, it still pretty much counts as a villain transformation. And what a transformation it is! By giving in to his old evil self, Vegeta is able to unlock the full potential of Super Saiyan 2, a power that lets him go toe-to-toe and even best Goku in their long-awaited rematch. Goku was hiding the power of his Super Saiyan 3 form, of course, but Vegeta still managed to beat him. That said, Vegeta's Majin form still wasn't enough to defeat Buu, even when he exploded all of his power at once in his final heroic act. Suffice it to say, the exact power of Vegeta's Super Saiyan 2 Majin transformation is hard to figure out, but it's definitely one of the most powerful villain forms in the series. Now, Super Buu was not Buu's final transformation. It was arguably his strongest, but not his final. That honor belongs to Kidbu, which is more like Buu's most pure form, a transformation that results when all of the people he absorbed were removed from him to revert him back to his basic self. This form is not as strong as Majin Buu or Super Buu, however it is more reckless, ferocious, unhinged, and insane, all of which make him far more dangerous than the previous forms. Kidbu is interesting in this way. He is technically Buu at his weakest, but it makes the list of strongest Dragon Ball villain transformations just for the fact that he was A, just as hard to beat as his previous forms, and B, incredibly dangerous through his reckless and ferocious tendencies. Any transformation that takes a planet-wide spirit bomb to defeat definitely deserves to make the Dragon Ball Villain Form Hall of Fame, which was exactly the case with Kidbu. As such, even in his weakest form, Kidbu stands as an incredibly dangerous, frightening, and powerful villain form. Next up, we have another form from Frieza, Golden Frieza. First debuting in Resurrection F and later the Dragon Ball Super saga that adapted it, Golden Frieza is a temporary form similar to Super Saiyan but to Frieza's alien race. Golden Frieza is more or less a golden recoloring of Frieza's final form that boosts his strength and makes him 10 times more difficult to beat, and was achieved by way of Frieza actually training for the first time in his life since his previous power was just something he was born with. After training, Frieza increased his power and acquired this new golden form, which he brought out to enact his revenge on Goku and Vegeta. Golden Frieza's power is hard to gauge, but it seems to be close to or possibly stronger than Super Saiyan Blue, since neither Goku nor Vegeta were able to fully defeat his golden form with their Super Saiyan Blue power. But as stated, it's hard to gauge. Regardless, it is still one of the strongest villain transformations in Dragon Ball, easily outranking the final forms of Buu and Cell. Next up is another new villain transformation introduced in Dragon Ball Super, Super Saiyan Rosé. This form comes to us by Goku Black, who, spoiler alert, was actually Universe 11's Supreme Kai in training Zamasu, given Goku's power by switching bodies with him using a Dragon Ball wish. In this body, Zamasu's god power is filtered through Goku's Super Saiyan transformation to make what is essentially a more pure variant of Super Saiyan Blue, a form that is what happens when Goku filters his Super Saiyan God transformation through his Super Saiyan form. The result is insane power and pink Super Saiyan hair, making Goku Black one of the toughest opponents that Goku ever faced. This form is one of the strongest villain transformations in Dragon Ball just by way of it being at the same level as Goku's Super Saiyan power, possibly even stronger. Add to this Zamasu's technique, training, and overall god superiority, and Goku Black's Super Saiyan Rosé form stands as one of the coolest and strongest villain transformations in Dragon Ball. Though, if I can be honest, the name is kinda lame. Next up is Broly, specifically the new, rebooted canon version of the character and his incredibly powerful legendary Super Saiyan full power form. Broly has a number of transformations in Dragon Ball Super Broly, including a wrath state where his hair spikes up, his muscles grow, and his eyes turn yellow. This power was nothing for Goku and Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue power, but once Broly turned Super Saiyan, things got serious. Then they got even more serious when Broly unleashed the full power of his Super Saiyan form, which gave him his signature green-tinted Super Saiyan hair and a power beyond comprehension. It took Goku and Vegeta fusing with Super Saiyan Blue power to stand a chance at defeating Broly, and even then he still put up one heck of a fight. Broly might not have been a villain by the end of the film, but he was when he was at his strongest, which makes his full power Super Saiyan form, a power resulting from him being a mutant Saiyan with boundless power, one of the strongest villain transformations in the Dragon Ball franchise. Going back to our good friend Zamasu, the second to last transformation in this list is Fused Zamasu. This transformation resulted when the two different Zamasus, the one who had taken Goku's body and the one from an alternate future, got desperate and fused together using the Potara earrings. This fusion, which was permanent because of their god status, created Fused Zamasu, a being of insane power and even crazier ego. So, just how strong was Fused Zamasu? He was definitely strong enough to require the power of Vegeta to defeat, but judging by the massive scale on which his transformation could attack, as well as the magical, godly nature of these attacks, Zamasu was basically unstoppable. Seriously, if it weren't for the fact that the form was unstable due to being half mortal and half immortal, Fused Zamasu would probably be the definitive winner and strongest villain transformation in this video. Unfortunately, or fortunately maybe, this was the case, and the form started to deteriorate halfway through the final fight, allowing Trunks to defeat him with a Spirit Sword in one of the coolest finishing moves ever. Last and certainly not least, we have the newest addition to the Dragon Ball franchise, the final form of Moro, a villain exclusive to the Dragon Ball Super manga, which follows a slightly different narrative path. Moro is a centuries-old prisoner of the Galactic Patrol who was imprisoned for consuming planets and feeding off their energy. When Moro escapes and regains his former power, as well as new power by consuming new planets, he turns from his old self back to his younger form, which is only his first transformation. Later down the line, he manages to consume a robot with the ability to copy and absorb powers, an ability that he gains after consuming him, gaining his raw strength as well. This results in a form simply known as Transformed Moro. Transformed Moro is perhaps the strongest opponent that Goku has ever faced, since not only does he have a power level close to that of Beerus or any other deity, he also has some powerful and mysterious magical abilities that make this form one of the strongest villain transformations in Dragon Ball. And there you have it, the strongest villain transformations in all of Dragon Ball. So which among these do you think is the most powerful? Which one is your favorite? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to CBR for more awesome Dragon Ball videos like this one.